Hey guys, just figured I'd do a quick video on this. It's been 2 years since I did the first one when I bought the car, and somebody was asking me, what did I do with it? What was, like, did you do any changes? So figured I'd do a walk around and kind of show the changes that I did to this vehicle. As you can see, it's on aftermarket suspension. It's got open road tuning coilovers on it with Fortune electronic adjusters that I can adjust from inside the cab. The reason why I did the electronic adjusters was because this is a Royal Saloon G model, and the G model has AC in the back. So you can't reach the tops of the struts to adjust the dampening. So I decided to do electronic adjusters on that because it makes it a little easier. I have it sitting on Advan SA3Rs, 17x8, 17x9, 245s in the front, 275 in the rear. I plan on turboing this car, so I kind of went with a more drag style, sort of street drag style tire, kind of wide. So wanted to get those on it. Another change I did, which is recent, within the last month or so, is I put my Mark IV TT Super Brakes on it for stopping power. Man, they stop real well compared to the stock stuff. They stop really well. There's not really too many changes in here. The only changes is here's the electronic dampeners, the Fortunatos. I'm probably gonna end up removing the cruise control module because I don't think it works anymore, based off of another mod that I did, but I will show that in a second. Another thing I did was replace the radio. They had the EMV on it, so I went with a base model AC control system. Well, not base model. It still has the rare AC and rare air purification stuff in it. So I swapped out that. I put a Sony head unit in it. I would highly recommend Sony head units because their Android Auto is fantastic. The problem with doing this on EMV cars, and I've explained it on some of the groups, where you have to basically go into the trunk. There's a big box where the CD changer and all that stuff is, right around in this area right now. I got a bunch of stuff in the trunk, so I'm not gonna open it, but around here there's a CD changer and all that that also has the amp. And what you have to do is you have to run wiring from back here all the way to the front of the car in order to put a regular heat unit on EMV units. If it's not an EMV unit, that wiring is underneath the seat. It's a little bit easier to do, and plus there's a wiring setup where you can use the stock amp and all that, which is recommended. I also, when I swapped the radio out, I swapped the subwoofer. So in here I have I think it's a JVC I put in here. But the biggest change that I did, which changes this car completely, is I have a Granis T56 Magnum F swap in here. We recently just did this because about 2 months ago I took this to Tail of the Dragon. I live in Connecticut, if you don't know. We drove this car 2,200 miles. We went down to North Carolina, then Tennessee, to Pennsylvania, and then back to Connecticut. And one of the stops was Tail of the Dragon. And when I drove this on Tail of the Dragon, I already had the transmission and all that stuff ready to go. I hadn't swapped it yet. I was kind of dragging my feet on it. And they, after the trip, going up and down the Trail of the Dragon with the stock A340 was kind of uninspiring, so that kind of pushed me to get the transmission installed. So this is a T56 6-speed manual. The Granis will be making a kit for this. They actually are going to be using this car as kind of the groundwork for it, for the main reason is for the drive shaft. So this kit that I used was actually the JZX90 kit. Everything is the same between the JZX90 and the JZS155. The cross member that holds the transmission is the same. Clutch pedal's the same. Everything like that. The only difference between it are the bolts that hold the cross member in. On JZXs, they are M10s. On this is an M8. That's literally the only thing they'll have to change on the kit. But yeah, it's been great. I've been driving it for a little over a month now with the manual. Maybe a little less than a month, actually. Getting it broken in. I want to put 2 tanks of gas in it before I dump all the fluid out and put the fresh fluid in. One of the complaints I have with it is it's a little loud. This transmission is supposed to have a dampened flywheel, so it kind of makes a lot of grindy, chirpy rock crusher sounds, but not that big of a deal. It's a great transmission, would recommend it. One of the other mods I did, which you can't really see, is when I put this manual in. These cars have 342 rear end gear stock. That doesn't really work on a T56. You get a really low RPM on the ground or on the road. It would have been like 2,000 RPMs at like 80 miles an hour. So I put a 372 LSD out of an IS300 in it. Very easy swap. All you have to do is take your cups out of the diff, and then plop the cups that hold the axles and pop them into the LSD rear and put it into the car, and you're good. Here's another mod that I did. That's the controller for the coilovers. Love it. Looks real good. Looks almost stock. I never use my ashtray, so cut this out a little bit to put this controller in. But other than that, I've just been driving it. I really like it a lot. I have put a significant amount of miles on it. Let's see here. So it has 69,820 kilometers on it right now. I think when I made the video, the first video would have had about, I think, 54,000 kilometers. I'd have to go back and look at the video, but I'm pretty sure when I first bought it, it was about 54,000 kilometers. Got this sweet artwork for the radio for my car. Just a little thing, but I like it a lot. But yeah, I figured I would do another kind of rundown on the car. My next mods are going to be, I think I'm going to do seats. I want to do Status Racing seats in this, mostly because they have colors that almost match the interior. In my first car, I didn't really match the interior to the seats, and it was fine. But with this car, I kind of want to match stuff a little bit better. So Status Racing has some grays. I have them sending me swatches so I can swap out the seats. I'm very suspicious that the seat mounting is the same as the JZX90. It looks very similar, so I'm going to try using those brackets. And then the next mod is going to be a turbocharger, and probably a DET3 ECU master. Just gotta get it down. If you're familiar with up north, we have downtimes in the winter. It's 4 months that you can't drive your car, and that's generally where major mods go, with the exception of my transmission, which didn't take that long to do. It took more time to wait for a drive shaft to actually swap the transmission. But that's kind of a rundown. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll answer all the ones that I can. Thank you so much for watching.